Logansport Parks and Recreation Board meeting to order. We'll start as always with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just a reminder, any visitors with us tonight, please sign in with name and address by the podium. And it's time for the mission statement from Ammon.
Okay, the mission statement is Logansport Parks and Recreation Department is committed to building a vibrant and healthy community for future generations through accessible recreational facilities and programs that promote physical health, social engagement, conservation, and cultural appreciation.
Thank you. Approval of the old minutes. Everybody should have gotten emailed the minutes from the last meeting. Does anybody have any corrections or additions or subtractions?
No.
All right, then we will approve the minutes as reported. So, old business. First thing on the old business are the leases for the baseball season. Nobody's here for that, so I'll let Jan kind of address that. I don't think that's going to happen today.
It is not going to happen tonight. They contacted Jacqueline or Dave, I'm not sure which one, both of you, and said they will not be here tonight to sign these agreements that we've really, Jacqueline especially, worked really hard to get done, cleaned up, ready to go for this. So I'm not sure what the reason is for either league. I think the only thing that I'm concerned about is that they have not put this off a second month. We're going to try to do it in February, and they didn't do it then. And here it is in March. They're still not getting it done. And I think they're supposed to be having tryouts and stuff like that this weekend. And without signing a lease, I don't feel they have the right to be in those fields, any of them. We don't have a key to their fencing area, do we? We do?
So I think we're going to have to make some phone calls this week. If they can't pull themselves together, then we need to talk about, they can't really use those fields unless they're going to come to the table. You know, if there's a problem, like if they're not happy with the agreement or something, then we need to work on that or take a look at what the issue is. But we can't just operate this whole spring in limbo and wonder whether somebody's going to show up and sign a contract or not. So, I would say, give it a try, but then at some point we're going to have to swap the locks out. We're going to have to get in there and change them until they do something. Because, we can't be responsible for everything that they're doing in there if they don't have an agreement signed with us.
Was there a previous contract?
Every year.
What's the expiration date?
It's just for the calendar year that we're in. So, anything else on that?
There really isn't much, the leases are ready to go. And the only other thing I can think of is that we're trying to be more proactive about getting the information that we're requesting of them. So from the very, from the start, instead of waiting until letting it trickle in, we want it all when we sign the lease. And I think that's proactive of us, and I hope it.
That shouldn't be a deal. That shouldn't be a hard thing to do. I mean,
I didn't think it was a hard thing either. So, I don't know what their I don't know what their problem is, so. Do you know, Mike?
I know they have some problems. So,
Are they with us?
no, like financial problems. So they may not be able to get the insurance that you require.
It's not the it's, well, maybe with the Babe Ruth, but they felt like they were gonna be able to take care of their debts.
Hi, did you have a comment? Yes. Okay, you're welcome to come up. You need to come to the table, though, because the microphone has to pick it up. And if you could, before you leave, just make sure you sign in over there. Just, yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Ran here from work. I work
That's
for
okay.
Mac. My name is Andy Flores, and I'm the Major League Coordinator for the Logansport Little League. So, not for the Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth is the financial issue.
Yeah, two different entities.
We understand that.
Okay. They just said it was the baseball stuff, and I got here late, so I apologize.
So are you willing to sign this agreement? Have you been a part of,
For the lease for the Babe Ruth, I have nothing to do.
not
with
Babe Ruth, Logansport Community Baseball?
Yeah, I thought Aaron and Jason were going to be here. So,
No, they wrote us this morning and said they were not, or yesterday, and said they were not coming.
okay, yeah.
They said Andy's in charge.
Yeah. No, we had some discussions there, and there were some amendments that we were looking at with the board, and, yeah, that's the last that we spoke of. And there was a lot of demands there that we were trying to get figured out to see what actually was, needed. But, yeah.
So it sounds like maybe the left hand and right hand don't know that, like, does he need to go back?
If there's
and-
stuff that they're wanting from the leases to be changed, is that what,
Well, from my understanding, the lease was done, and then you were requiring us for more amendments of the lease, right? So we were,
no, they're the same amendments we've done all along.
okay,
Or,
okay.
but,
And I apologize, last time we met was back in January.
Yeah.
So that's the last time I met
Right.
with you guys,
right,
so.
When's your next event schedule, like tryouts or whatever? What's your next?
Tryouts are this Sunday, and I'll be seeing Aaron and Jason both there. We just had a board meeting this past Sunday. So we meet once a month.
You think maybe we should suggest an executive board meeting so they can get it resolved? Would that be unreasonable?
no, that's not the response that we're getting from Aaron, who is the president.
I apologize, what is the response you're getting from Aaron, so I can clarify that with him? Because if there's mixed feelings here, or misunderstanding, I'm more than happy to clear it up.
That's part of the problem. He's not telling us what the problem is. If there's a problem, except that he doesn't want to come and do it, he isn't saying what his problem is.
Okay, sure. And I don't want to speak on it, because I don't want to sound like I know everything, because I don't.
I understand that.
I'm only the coordinator for the major leagues. My first year actually serving as the board, but, I know there's a lot going on there to make sure that things get done and done correctly, so. But we meet once a month, whatever's required, I'm sure we can figure it out.
Okay. All right.
Suzie. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of where the problem lies. We thought we were gonna be doing this in February, and it didn't happen, and so we pushed it off to March.
Yeah,
We can't have leagues operating in the property without a lease agreement,
okay,
because there's insurance, right, there's liability, there's all kinds of things that go on. So they're not gonna be able to do that this Sunday if we haven't figured this out. And before you came in, I said, we need to get on the phone with them this week and out what we can do. Because, I mean, we're not trying to hamper baseball, but they've got to sign the agreements.
We can get it figured out. And you said we can't have tryouts at the park, correct?
I mean, in those fields, yeah,
Correct.
because of that.
Because of the weather, we've been doing winter workouts at the baseball facility, and that's where tryouts were gonna be,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I don't think we knew that, but that's okay. I guess we just assumed they'd
That's why
be,
I'm here.
yeah,
That's totally understandable.
okay. So,
Can I ask you as a board, well, I don't know, maybe this is a stupid thing to suggest, but if we go ahead and approve the leases as they are, and then Jacqueline and Dave and I work at getting those signed and getting all the documents taken care of before, because otherwise it's April.
We don't want to pinch them, but at the same time, yeah,
Sorry,
you
what?
would put subject to approval by such and such a date. You'd need a date on there, I would think, you know.
well, if we approve them, I think we're just approving that these are okay documents to use. The language, the details are in there, but it's not something that's mutually agreed to until they sign it.
Right.
So, I mean, just because we approve it doesn't mean they have permission to just run over it without signing the document.
I think the contract says they're supposed to have proof of insurance too, which is usually the issue. That's the hardest part, is that they're getting going and they're also collecting money with these tryouts, and then,
Well, insurance is paid for.
okay, well,
Yep,
then that,
yeah, it
then
goes
that would
through
be
calendar.
contractually, at least that we have that to say that they are covered.
That's easy
Yeah.
to provide too.
Okay.
Big thing.
Yep.
And the insurance is always in a weird, because I don't remember what the current policy is, like it ends in the end of April. And so it's still good till, till May, and so we're good that way. And then the insurance is supposed to be sure we get the new certificate of insurance, so, anyway. Well,
And again, I think, and this is just me from the meeting back in January, I think the holdup was that, we thought the lease contract was the same, but there was a lot of pink there that was being amended or new regulations that needed, so I think that's where the holdup was with Jason and Aaron, but I will clarify that and see what's going on.
Jackie?
yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So all of the pink that was changed that I highlighted for them in these leases was the word "there" and "tenant." Every other piece was worded differently, and so to clarify all the leases, the word "tenant" was placed in. There was one section that was taken out as they no longer have their batting cages, and so we took that completely out. Other than that, nothing got changed. Some verbiage where there was incorrect grammar, dates, people. Other than that, there were no changes to this lease. We still haven't received any information to sign this lease. And we got information today from everybody who was supposed to be at this table to sign leases, saying that they weren't going to be here for a multiple of different reasons. So just wanted to throw that one in there as I was back there and didn't want to interrupt too much, but since I'm the one that's kind of the in-between, I wanted to at least put that
I
out
think
there.
they're now something else like
Yeah.
country or something. I think they changed.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Thanks for adding that.
Are you guys now town and country?
We are, yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, so we have to decide. Like I said, we can either approve the leases from our end of it, or we have to table the whole thing until April. I mean, that's really the two choices, so.
Have a special meeting. I mean, I'm out of town Friday, but I could meet Thursday if they needed to come in and sign. If we could get 3 of us, you could have a special.
You mean like tomorrow, Thursday?
Yeah. Well, they're busy today, so probably tomorrow they'll be free. I'm just saying, if we need to, if you want to have it signed before our next meeting, and you want to have it signed, but it sounds like they're going to use the high school facility, so it's not for now.
Okay.
I don't, as I say, the tough thing is, I don't think the lease hasn't changed, but from last year, other than tenant versus there or whatever. But I say, I think we've had issues in the past where financial statements and that kind of stuff was asked for, and, I say, I've been doing this too long, it's just, there's information to ask for, and they'll say, well, even if they were here, they would say, we haven't got it, we'll get it to you, and then we never see
No, we never see them.
never see it. So, I mean, it just,
So we're trying to get that stuff when they sign them.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think in the big picture, since there has been issues with financial stuff, it is not in the best interest of Logansport to have groups that we rent to that are not paying businesses all over town. So it's, and it just is I just think it's a bad, in general, I think it's a bad thing, and to say they need to, but I also understand, your son's playing ball, son or daughter playing ball, and you get on the board, and then they're there 3 years, and they leave, and then you leave, and then, I mean, you really are at the mercy of, sometimes you have guys that are really organized and got their stuff together, and it's perfect, and then they move on to Babe Ruth or whatever, and then, I mean, so it's crazy, and it's the same in softball as it is baseball. I mean, it's the same, but, I mean, I guess what we're comfortable with, I don't,
But we will work on it some more, and if you can get a hold of Aaron and/or Jason and find out if we can't make this happen.
When were you wanting the fields? When were you wanting to start using them?
I believe May is when
May?
we actually
Okay.
start.
So
Not
we
till
have-
May?
we
Yeah,
have
that's
time.
yeah, but
Okay.
that's the league when it starts.
You don't have practices there?
Well, I was getting to that, yeah, practices start before then.
So when do you need the field? When do you need the field?
April, yeah.
Okay.
But that's weather permitting, of
That's our
course.
next meeting.
Now, when you talk about financial statements, that was one of the topics that we talked about, and we can provide the general account and the account on the concessions and things like that, but we didn't have like you said, a budget of money and coming out and everything like that. That's hard for us to do because, again, everybody's volunteer there, and we know what's going on, who's getting paid up, and we were paid up, and we have the final statements of each account, but we can't provide a complete budget of
well,
everything.
you'll probably have access to your bank statements, though.
Yes.
And that would show, I mean, what really, what happens in these, or, I mean, realistically, you have some upfront expenses, and you'll see you wrote checks to somebody for uniforms, and you had this and that. And then I assume, every day or so, you deposit the money from last night's concessions every day. So you could see when that stuff's there, and basically, you can take the amount of income, the deposits, and subtract off, the expenses, and that gives you something. The problem you said they've had in the past is just the fact that, it is a loosey-goosey thing, but at the same time, it makes the Parks Department and the city of Logansport look bad when they had money problem. And unfortunately, Little League has had some issues 5 years back or something like that, and so it's just a case, it's just, and I say, when you have sloppiness that way, there's sloppiness in other ways. You leave the lights on, when they left, they didn't turn on, it's just crazy, but I understand it, and I say, I've just been around too long with, unfortunately, and it just depends on what group you got on that board, so I'm glad you're on the board, because I know you're a good guy. But I think that it is an issue where it's hard, because you say, I wasn't there, there were people that would steal, and, all kinds of stuff that went on, and we didn't make any money, and it's like, well, how did you not make any money? Well, and that's why the financials trying to teach the board to say, well, we have to raise our, we even did stuff where we gave free water and stuff at times and Sam Taco was here he was wanting to get more kids involved, and we were charging too much, and so we tried to help them, and then they never even had, how many more kids you have than last year? When they report back to us, they couldn't even do that. I was like, well, guys, that was our deal. You wanted us to give you something for free, and then you're going to tell us, well, that worked better than the year before. So that's, unfortunately, there's just history, I think, here, And you guys are caught in the wrong time at the wrong place, but anyway, I mean,
And I do have the minutes from the last, and I apologize, I'm not good at any of this, but I do have the minutes from the last meeting to where the numbers of registration are, again, the general accounts, the concession accounts, and all that information. So we are trying to do a better job at that. So we can provide that bank statement, but it's not a budget per se. Yeah, it's just a financial statement.
I was just asking for a statement of revenue and expenses. That's all I'm asking
you have
for.
everything you need.
Yeah.
If you can identify it and say, normally you can't.
Have
so-
banner sponsors.
And I don't mind, I can help you with that, or if you want to drop by sometime or whatever. I mean, it really is, anything that's a deposit on your bank statement or something, money coming in, you have a beginning balance that was on the bank statement, then you had whatever money came in, then you have the expenses, which would be the checks that you wrote, and all the deposits or all the concession money. So you can basically just say, here's the concessions that money came in, money came out. And normally you'll see, though I think, you'll see the check written to, whoever. Creative Promotions, that's our uniforms, okay, and so it's not, I think in our case, the bank even just give us the bank statement, we could somewhat, I mean, it's not, think rocket science, I mean, just take you got 4 or 5 bank statements a season, start with this kind of money and this kind of money, we either made money or didn't make money, and that's, so,
So,
it's always, people are confused always, we say, we need a financial statement, it's like, it really isn't that complicated. This is what came in, this is what came out, this is what was left over. And you either made money or didn't make money, and, that kind of stuff. And I guess you have like utility bills too, you probably have the utility bills are there too, and you paid for the insurance, I mean, so there's 4 or 5 things, but it really isn't very and then you paid for concession supplies, so that's what that really is.
our next meeting is April the 8th. So I'm going to recommend that we table this again until either April 8th, or if we need to call a special meeting, I think we're willing to do that, to sign it, if they are able to come in before April 8th. Because really, it's on them. It's their time schedule. So we're ready whenever. So that's going to be my recommendation. Does anybody have a problem with that? Is that okay? Okay, so can I get a motion to table the baseball lease discussion until April 8th? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moved. Okay, thank you very much for coming.
Sandy.
Appreciate your time, thank you.
Thanks for
Sure
coming.
you sign the thing there.
Okay, so next under old business is an update on the Spencer Park pedestrian crosswalk.
Okay, so what I put in your packets is my proposal to the Board of Works, which is where this has to go through for their approval. It's basically justification for getting it done, and then after that's there, the signage that I'd like to put in there, and then the pavement markings that the street department has agreed to help us do. And then what I dropped off to, or put in your packets here before you, so there's a diagram here. And then a little better looking signs than what I had in the diagram. I still have yet to get the department heads, the planning director, street commissioner, police chief, and fire chief to all approve it. And then, but what I gave you tonight was the budget. Louthan has determined that I can't remember what the total number is, but for the sidewalk was $1,872, and the concrete curb and gutter was gonna be $2,800, that modified, and then we just received the sign quote from Hall Signs, which is where you get those kinds of signs. It was $3,007, and the bulk of that was posts. The actual posts, you had to buy them in quantities of 25, but we still have handicap signs to put into this year, so it's worth it getting those extra posts. And then the pavement marking allowance, Chad said he thought what he would spend was about $1,000 plus. He is going to put a double yellow line down through that section of the road, or that with it there in front of, between boundaries of Spencer Park. And so I just made an allowance for 1,500. Probably won't be that much, but that's what my allowance is. So for a total of $9,179.51. So
Is there a raised speed bump now? It's
no,
not. Okay.
it's right.
No.
It's flat with the ground. Chad was going to use thermoplastic, which is it lasts better than regular paint.
Right, it's like
And
they have-
Okay.
it's more illuminating, I guess, if you will. Has more sparkles to it. So, anyway, that's where we're at. And I got that pretty well put together here this week, so you could see that.
Okay, so that'll go to Board of Works.
The Board of Works will have to approve the actual crossing, to install a crossing. The council I need to run this through the council to make sure that they're okay with the plan, as well as far as finances go. But that's, and then we can get started. I have to do a curb cut application too. That's where we're at. Any questions?
I think this is a good alternative. I mean, this is what they do at Purdue. They have a lot of what they call, not crosswalks, it's like crossovers. It's like when you're in the middle of a street and you're crossing from one part to the next, and this, and I read a study they had, and I think it was like 60% of the people paid attention to it, and that was better than they had before. But, you see somebody there, I think, they got that areas that warning first, and then you have the actual crosswalk, and, I mean, it is, I think one of those signs tells you that it's by law, the one that's got the high fluorescent, stop for pedestrians within crosswalk, that is a law. So if they did not stop there, you could take further action if necessary. But I think this is,
I think it's a good starting point. I think it will draw attention to the fact that we have people crossing the road sometimes there, and we need to be careful. So, yeah,
it's a busy street. It's a busy street, and
it is.
Yeah.
Good job. Looks good.
So, do we need to do any kind of approval on this?
It doesn't hurt.
Okay.
Or just say that you support it.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve going forward from our end of it with the updated pedestrian crossing estimate and plan?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Sure.
Why don't you come up to the mic, please?
Hello, friends.
Oh.
I'm Susie Walmsley, 1616 High Street. I just want to say that I've spent a little bit of time studying this street at different times of the day. And so anything's better than what we have right now. Anything. So this is a great first step. And the only thing that I would like to do is someone, I don't know if it was a Parks meeting or a city council, I don't remember, but we talked about having the where someone's keeping track of how many, like, we need to pay attention to how much this slows people down. Like,
Those traffic, those rubber things count.
right, so I just think, I just want to, I want to have a way to implement your plan and then see how much progress, how much difference it makes. Because I think this is a great start, and I think it's going to make a lot of difference. And so I just like to have, the best way to
yeah.
do this is to have numbers to show this is where we're at. Seriously, this is a great start. But, this might not be the end of the road, but I just want to have a study, per se. That's all.
I contacted the chief of police, and I asked him if they have any kind of data on, speeding through that area or what's going on. And I also asked about, he said he would get back to me if he did. I haven't heard anything yet. But he also, I asked him about using one of the automated radar signs, or the portable radar signs that sit in front of the schools when school gets out. And he seemed amicable to that. So we might get one of those moved down there. That's more of a deterrent than it is a study on what people are doing. If I had my own personal radar gun, I'd be happy to sit down there and just see how fast people are going, and this is how many cars
This is your
went this
summer
speed.
job.
My summer. But yeah, I don't disagree. I would like to know too, and I've driven down there a few times purposely at 20 miles an hour to feel how slow that is, because most of us probably aren't getting down to 20. A lot of cars will go faster than 20 when you take your foot off the gas. So it's hard to do sometimes, but there are definitely a lot of people flying through there. Not everybody. There are some that are not, but there's a lot that are.
But my first objective of studying the street was when you said that when Jan informed us that there were 7,100 cars going past that park a day, 7,100. And I was like, huh. And so, anyway, I've done my own little study, and I've gone at different really busy times of the day just to see morning, lunch, after school, evening, and.
The afternoon rush is crazy.
You're not wrong about how many cars go past that street. And so, anyway, I think this is a great first start, but I want to figure out a way to do some study to see how much this helps us.
What's the posted speed there? 20?
20.
And that's
30.
All of High Street's 20?
No.
It's
the park.
30, right
Okay,
before the park
okay.
is 30, then it goes to 20, and then it's
20,
30 right on the
I say.
other side.
Alls we have.
the schools are 20.
Alls we have are, which I just found so hard to believe, like you have a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, and I mean, like, on the.
There's a reduced speed ahead.
That's it.
Uh-huh. That's,
Well,
Yeah.
I do know on Market and Broadway, they did a study 3 or 4 years ago. The street commissioner, I was talking to him, the average speed is 43. And it's 35 through there.
I just think, once you get all this done, which I hope is soon, like, your game plan is to do this before the hot summer months, right?
yes, I hope so, yeah.
Okay, and then, so if we could, Jason, you follow up?
I'll check and see what we can get accomplished.
Well, I can help you with that if you
I
need.
think there is one put there periodically in the summer.
This
Because I live right there.
experiences at Pru a lot of times, and what's nice about it is that they have, they may have ones that have flashes and stuff too, where you push a button. But in general, these kinds here, it makes you look and see is someone there at the thing. And if there is someone there, you're supposed to stop. And in this case here, you should go down to 20, but hopefully people will at least recognize, uh-oh, and they will slow down. In that period, we get them down to a lower speed, and they don't have to stop if there's if there's nobody there. But you do. I think just the attention and the brightness of the signs, it can't hurt. I told somebody years ago up at Eastgate Plaza, we had a kid that got hit somewhere coming down the hill, Mr. Happy Burger and that kind of stuff. They put a little sidewalk in there, and the mayor came to me and said, "Hey, we want to put in sidewalks along where." They had those grass things. They told me, hey, would you guys let us do this and do this and this and this? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And the kids can come down here. There's going to be a flasher. There's going to be a stop. And then they started forming up. And I said, hey, there's no sidewalks being formed up. And the mayor at that time said, well, we ran out of sidewalk money. So, so it was an intention. It's kind of a funny situation because because of the accident that with the kid that was there, we got to do something. And then there wasn't any money. They didn't do anything. And there's still nothing today. So, it's a case where I don't want to see the reverse of this, where we think about doing something, and then somebody gets hit there, and, somebody with a stroller or something. So I think this can work for everybody, where people will slow down a little bit in that spot. You don't have to raise the thing and have it where
Right.
it's just. I've seen it work at Purdue, and of course there's a lot of students down there. But I just think this is a good, fair thing for the community, and and again, as you say, there's a lot of people travel that way, but we don't want to wait until someone gets hit to say, we should have, because it's like we all recognize, by doing this, we've now all recognized that there could be a problem there. And I say at Christmas at the Park, and Dave Smith and I and Jason were standing out there with a stop sign. There's some drivers that, we're standing for us investing up at stop sign, and I wasn't sure they're going to stop before they hit me, So then it's gonna, there's different phases, but I think this is a wonderful first step to say, let's find a way to draw attention to it anyway.
Yep, thanks, Jan, for revising that. We'll get moving forward on that, so. All right, we have no new business listed, so we'll move on to the administrator's report.
I'm gonna let Kevin and Dean talk about their events and 4th of July. I don't really have much to say. Here. We've, everybody's been working really hard on lots of stuff, so, we did have a walkthrough on the disc golf. Some of you guys got to do that last week, what we're doing.
We walked through there, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I meant to bring our Park and Play press. I forgot to bring that with me, didn't I? Did everybody see that?
The what?
Press release?
No, the Park and Play press, the wrap that went around your coupons you got in your newspaper.
I did not. I don't get the newspaper.
I must have thrown that in the trash.
I'm not sure.
Thanks a lot. Well, don't do that anymore.
In my mailbox.
Is that for the bunny cage?
It'll come out on the first Saturday of every month, and it's the full, what they put close every, like they did the American flag on it last year, and it's a
They have all the
heavier,
ads
it's
inside
a
of there,
heavier
so it's-
paper, and so Jacqueline put together a story about Dave being the sports manager and about what they can expect in programming for this coming year. Then on the other side, the flip side, it had all the different activities that were happening in the month of March for people. So we're hoping to get some extra copies out of it, certainly for the May issue, because that'll be the one where kids or people can see all the programming for the summer. So anyway, it's pretty cool. So anyway, that came out last Saturday? Yeah, this last Saturday. So go back and look at your newspapers that you got, okay? Let's see. And I've been working with Beth Myers still on our 100th anniversary book. Hopefully that'll go good. We attended Soil and Water Conservation Annual Dinner, which was very nice. We had a great speaker. Joe Collins is his name. His business is helping to prevent erosion for construction projects. And, he was very persuasive in his delivery and making sure we're taking care of our ground, because they're not making dirt anymore. That's what they say. So Also participating, we're working with the Cass County Community Foundation on their plans for the Christmas programming of the new incubator kitchen. And so I think the idea, I don't know if I explained this last month or not. I don't think I did. That the Light Up Logansport is the overall brand of Christmas activities. And like, so our Christmas in the Park will be titled Christmas in the Park, a Light Up Logansport event, you know, or program, or something like that. So the Light Up Logansport is going to be part of the overall branding of it, of everything that we do for Christmas this coming year. And I'm pleased to have the Community Foundation taking on some of this work. I know they've got a lot of ideas for what they want to do, and I don't quite know for sure what's going to be possible and what's not, but we'll get there. So, also working with the Red group, the Cass County Red group, and then also I've also been working with, or I at least had an initial meeting with Mike Boltink and Chuck Lehman, who are our original designers of Riverside Park things, and I'm trying to figure out exactly, the grant has opened back up, the Land and Water grant has opened back up, and so I want to figure out exactly what is the best thing for the community for me to do in terms of either make the application now or work on the construction documents, which was our original plan. So I haven't got, I don't know how that's gonna go yet, so. We signed our contract today with, for Mandy Hall, for the swim lessons. And you all, I don't think I'd had a chance to tell you at the last meeting about the free swim lessons. Did I tell you that at the last meeting? I don't think I did.
I saw the Ferris
Because
Tribune.
it happened after.
Yeah, I did see a post about
It
it.
happened afterwards.
Front
So,
page, I saw it.
yeah, so, yeah, it was a wonderful meeting. I had lunch with Deanna one day, and she said, I got two good things to tell you about. And the first one is that Daniel Anderson is going to purchase the additional 10 feet for the Christmas tree, for the big Christmas tree. So it sits up as high as all the spires that are now there for the farmer's market. And then the other one was the paying for the swim lessons. So that did get first reading approved, but the second reading is obviously the next April council meeting. So anyway, and both Jacqueline and Kevin attended the Great Lakes Parks Training Academy at Pokagon, and I think they had a good experience. I'm glad we sent them. It was an easy week since Jacqueline wasn't there because she's always keeping me hopping. So, anyway, and I'll let Dean tell you about his PGA meetings, and I attended an IU career fair last week in search for a summer intern. So, anyway, any questions? I'll let the others talk for themselves on their own progress. So.
All right, thank you, Jan. Jacqueline, come on up. Recreation Director report.
Hey everyone. So I worked this month a lot on stuff that I guess got thrown in the trash. With the the newspaper, it's due every 2 weeks for me, so it's kind of my new second part-time job. But it's really, I thought was going really well. What else? Spent most of my month on these leases. Was at conference. Last week I had an event every day. They all were great, some better than others. March 27th, we have Park After Dark. It's a free community event to come together with your neighborhood. The carousel will be open. We'll have karaoke. We'll have games. Tate Dogs and Kona Ice will be there. It's free to enter, food for purchase. It's the last week or the last Friday of spring break, so it's a nice little thing for the community to have for everybody who's still here for spring break. April 4th, we just added this one in with the Cass County Humane Society. They have some wonderful puppies that they're trying to get adopted, and so we are going to be partnering with them to do a dog egg hunt at the Wright Street Bark Park from 10 to 12 on the 4th, Saturday. Yeah, that'll be really super fun. Who doesn't love, puppies? April 18th is Earth Day. That's a huge one for us. We're going to have 25 plus vendor partners. It's a completely free day. There is no consumerism on that day. Carousel will be open. A lot of events. A lot of people will be doing demos of what they do for our community specifically, or just the environment in general. Not everybody's doing demos in education, but a lot are. So it'll be really fun. We opened up Little Tykes and Littlest Tykes baseball. We were going just to do Little Tykes and keep it at that and start small, but the community really wanted younger t-ball for the younger kids as well. And who am I to say no to that when the community asks for it and we can feasibly make it happen? And so we are. Littlest Tykes are at 9 to 10 a.m. on Saturdays from the last week in May to July, and Little Tykes is 10 to 12.
And we're using Melbourne Park is what we're using.
Yeah, we're using Melbourne Park. We're going to fix that up a little bit, give it some love, and get that all ready. And then we're doing Little Tykes Soccer. That's for 6 to 8-year-olds, I think I messed that one up, at Fairview Park at 6 p.m. The Babe Ruth League agreed if they can get their lease together that they would open up their concession stands so that there would be concessions for everybody there as well. March 25th, I said this one out of order, sorry everybody. March 25th, the Cryptid Club is going to meet. It's just a cute little moment where we're going to go find Bigfoot out in Dykeman Park in the trail. Yep, that's about it. That's what we got going on up until April. All of the sports are open for registration. They're $25 for their allotted ages. And yeah, really excited.
You guys got a lot of donations for, can you talk about your sponsorships that you've done?
Yeah, we reached out. Starting sports and keeping sports going is not always exactly cheap, and so we started reaching out to some local businesses for sponsorships, and we were really lucky with who reached back out to us. Dickies is one of our sponsors, Beacon Credit Union, Logansport Savings Bank, Creative Promotions, a few others that I'm probably missing at the
Tyson
moment.
and Ed Nason.
Tyson is helping us with 4th of July, not overall sports, but with a specific event. And yes, we did have a sponsor that didn't necessarily want a lot of praise to help with the disc golf. So, yeah.
Any questions? All right, thank you much.
Thanks.
Kevin, Parks Maintenance Report.
Evening.
Duty.
Well, there's no paper in front of me, so it's been a fantastic early spring for us. The uptick in weather has really been beneficial for the parks. Seen a lot of activity back out. It's good seeing life again back into the parks. Honestly, for most of our maintenance we've been doing lately, we're really gearing up for this springtime, getting all of our vehicles all worked on, oil changes, air filters, all that good stuff. The stuff that really goes unnoticed but helps us maintain a lot better through the year, making sure everything's kind of prepped and ready to go. Been spending a lot of time doing that. We fell a whole bunch of trees, stuff that invasive, stuff that was dead. We're in a pretty decent spot with our tree situation in the parks. You know, there's no fear of anything coming down that, you know, unbeknownst to us. So that's always a good thing, knowing that, you know, our parks are generally safe with the big trees there. And then if you've been up by the Bark Park, you'd notice that the last couple days that the press box is now gone, and there is a roof there now. We took off the top section, what was all wooden, took that down to the block, and then Cervantes came in and put a slanted roof on for us. We had some major problems with that press box, with deterioration and things over the years. So that is a much different look than, you know, what's been up there for a very long time. So there's still work to be done. There's still painting and whatnot. It's a little cool for that still, but there's going to be some movement up in there. We did work with Steinberger Construction while I was out at school with Jackie. You know, this is my second year with the Great Lakes, so that was fantastic. But while I was away, Steinberger generously helped us put in some of our shades, or the shade cells are not in yet. We are waiting for that concrete to cure since it's still kind of cold. We're giving it some time. But the concrete structures are in the ground, and then the shade cells will be probably coming up next week on that playground. So a lot of movement up in that area. Again, getting ready for all the events, the pool season coming up, and yeah, we're just planning for a lot of activities coming up. A lot of things that we're still progressing forward with the crosswalk, with the power, with the lighting at Spencer, things that are still progressing forward. We'll be working on diligently getting those all accomplished. So that's all I really have to report on.
Any idea when the water is going to be turned on for the bathrooms yet, or is it too early?
We generally, I mean, it is definitely weather permitting. You know, we look at Monday and we see an overnight low of 16. So as nice as it's been, we're still not out of the woods yet. And honestly, our block buildings are just so cold. So it feels nice outside, but usually it's about 10 degrees cooler inside of a building than outside. So even when we do have a 30-degree day when it's like, oh, well, it could probably be, it's about 20 inside the building. So that makes it more susceptible for those pipes to burst. So I'm hoping, honestly, by the end of March, early April, like we have in the past, we've been kind of around April to get in there. So, you know, if this weather comes back up and it starts to swing up and we can maintain a warmer season, then yeah, we'll be looking about April. So
How's the camera project is all?
camera's going really good. Now with the removal of the press box, we can finish the last point-to-point system from the pool. The pool has the internet that we need. We just need to do a point-to-point system across the park to get it to that building. Now that the buildings, we didn't really want to put one there just to take it back down to put it back up, you know, kind of situation. Don't want to do things twice. So now it's done. We can get that last little bit accomplished, and yeah.
That's the last one, that, you got everything else done, right?
Yep. I mean, there's still little outliers that we just don't have the room for because, like, the archway, the Little Turtle arch, when we put it in, there was a little bit of confusion about the power to it. So we had a couple cameras in that area that have to be relocated, but they're just not going to be in that part. But yes, they're going to get put into the system. But there's some there already. It's just the extras. But yeah, we're right on the end of that project finally. So Yes. All right.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right. Golf course report, Dean.
Not a lot different than last month on some things, you know, I mean, the course-wise, we're in really good shape. We did get a lot cleaned up, for last night's storm, which, you know, we got lucky. You know, we got real lucky. I mean, we had little limbs down and stuff like that, and it's very, very wet now. We were drying out. We had carts off the path. Number-wise, we did 370 rounds so far, and that was from Friday to Tuesday, basically. So that was, you know, kind of call it our soft opening, you know, knock the rust off. You know, now we're going back into the 20s next week, a couple days. So we'll be back to the simulator golf, which was really nice. It was really cool to with the simulators going Sunday and people out on the course playing. It was nice, but we still had a nice day with the simulator in there too. People wanting to still be inside and not be out with the wetness quite yet. So great addition for us. So everything's going really well with that. The course-wise, the driving range project is coming along. We're still hoping with some good weather here starting in the next couple weeks. You know, we get some nice weather here late March on. I'll get some seed out on them target greens, and hopefully by mid to late April we can be opening the driving range at least from, you know, where they can hit on the mats and stuff like that. So excited about that. It's really taking shape. It looks great. It's going to be a huge addition to not just Logansport, it's to the county and the surrounding areas too, to people to come and use it. And so that's going to be obviously a nice addition. You know, we're going to hit the ground running with all of our tournaments, our first tournaments in April with the high school boys invitational and plus matches and stuff like that. But our big tournament this year is our 100th anniversary, which is July 9th. We had a meeting since, you know, we last met. We're getting a lot of things buttoned up with that. It's going to be an event. It's going to be a little different than we do things usually. We're having something before we play golf at noon, and then something, you know, after too, dinner after. So excited. The invitations have went out to the donors and everything, and I'm sure we're going to end up having a full field with it. A lot of excitement over it. And it's a Thursday, July 9th. We're going to have a busy month right the week before our big two-man tournament that we always have. So the course will be hopefully in great shape at that point to show it off and everything. You know, I went to my PGA spring business meetings are in Muncie every year. It's always a great networking opportunity, seeing different things that's going on. Golf is good right now. Golf is really good. Talking to other pros and other golf courses around. One of the things that I signed up for was PGA Hope. It's a veteran program through the PGA. I went for training today. It sounds outstanding. Hopefully we get to implement that a little bit once we get our driving range. It's, you know, for all veterans, disabled, and everything to take part in golf. Sounds really good. A lot of it is, you know, I might go to another course or someplace and go to Indy and do the training down there with the veterans and stuff like that. But we could also have it at our course at some point too, hopefully. But excited for that. A little way to give back. Some eye-opening, you know, things with that today. I mean, it was definitely, like I said, definitely eye-opening with the veterans and everything. So excited to move forward with that and be a part of that. But otherwise, I mean, like I said, we're getting ready to see that nice weather like 10 days in a row someplace and really get going. Course greened up tremendous amount from last like Thursday, Friday to today. You know, with that, it was amazing the amount of green that
I think it's going to be another year where we mow the yard and then blow the snow the next day.
Yeah, it could be. I put my snow blower up at home, so I hope
Yeah.
I didn't jinx us.
No.
You know.
I just want to say good job to the whole golf club staff for the ribbon cutting and the 100th anniversary thing last week. It looked fabulous. The food was great. I mean, it was a really nice event.
Yeah, I
So,
left that out. That was a big deal. It worked out great. There's a great amount of people, great seeing the turnout. It's always, I love showing the place off, you know, and, you know, we get so much of that up there. Guys coming in that haven't seen it, that are just wowed by the clubhouse. That we have that, and with the simulators, with the patio and everything. So having the chamber up there and the ribbon cutting was really awesome.
I'll second that motion, just that I hadn't been there since the construction. So like, oh my gosh, I mean, just the views out of all those big windows was fabulous. I also told somebody, I think I told Jan, when I go to buying shows, they have you in for greet places. And there's a place down in Indianapolis when they were at the convention center they took us to that had a simulator, a couple simulators. But they had it was like the thing you sat at behind, like you guys have, was about 12 inches. And honest to God, they were so tight in there. And I mean, they took us there to impress you and stuff like that. When they would swing that club, you thought they were going to hit you. And I walked into the room you guys had and thought, oh my gosh, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
You had a nice big tabletop. I mean, you felt safe. I mean, honest to God, you're sitting there drinking and all of a sudden somebody's like swinging a club. And it's,
We're very, I mean, that was like the space that was left, you know, which, you know, or not left. I mean, we knew
We knew what
what we wanted for it and stuff, but we just wasn't sure how it was all going to work out. It couldn't have worked out any better.
oh yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I'm saying.
it really could. That's what I mean. Me and Kyle laughed a bunch. That, you know, we flip a coin on a lot of our decisions sometimes, and you know, that one works out. Yeah, you know, and we get a lot of compliments with what you just said there. The space in there, and you know, you don't feel crowded by the other people hitting. You don't feel bothered if they're being, you know, boisterous. It worked out.
It's very classy too. I mean, it just looks like everything to me is like top shelf country club. You guys have done it right, and I'm really proud to have that.
And we get a lot of people from out of town for that. I mean, the people we had there Sunday that spent 4 hours there were all from Monticello, you know. And they
At the
weren't-
simulator?
Yeah, in the simulator.
okay.
Yeah. And they were my age and older people that just wasn't ready to be outside yet, and it was the first time they'd been in the clubhouse, and they couldn't brag about it. They were thoroughly impressed.
Great.
We did good. Good coin flips.
You did great. You did great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
Okay, visitors' comments. Do we have any visitors' comments tonight? Okay. Board member comments. Mike?
We'll start it off. Hey, I apologize. I had not read through the contracts this year, and since they'll probably watch this, their board will probably watch this meeting online. I see a couple things that I'm guessing are some of their holdups on the baseball folks. You know, they listed have to have a financial statement for preceding calendar year. And again, I would recommend to them, if we talk to them, that you can get like a bank statement that has your copies of your checks on it. And that would, I imagine, it's not, I think you pay an extra, I don't know, 5 cents a check or something, but to have it, that would be handy for them. They could turn that in. It would show all the stuff they purchased. We could see all their deposits. That would help them there. My suspicion is the problem they probably run into is the next thing. They're supposed to present their most recently filed Indiana Department of Revenue Form IT-35AR. And I know having dealt with organizations through the years, a lot of times they do not file that stuff through. And if you do not file that stuff through, they will drop you from being considered a nonprofit and all that kind of stuff. I also know that in the past anyway, there's some sales tax involved. There is sales tax on some of the stuff in the concession stand, and sometimes if you got a loosey-goosey system, that's not being taken care of either. And if they don't have a little cash register or whatever, so I'm guessing that they're running into that kind of stuff. I guess my message to them is, you know, come and talk to us, you know, come and see us, talk to Jan, you know, talk to whoever, it does, you know, it doesn't change anything if they read this and they go, oh my gosh, we don't have that, we don't have this, we don't have this. You know, we have it on here because this is why that happens. It's easy to forget to do that stuff because, as he said, well, we got a bunch of volunteers.
That's been on there
For a
every
long
year.
time, yeah, I mean, because, and that's an issue, and I mean, there was years ago that even the LPA, whatever, the group from the Logansport High School that they had for their thing, they had let some of that stuff run out, you know, because if you could, and say, typically in the old days, you'd go get an accountant in town and say, would you mind being on our board? And then they would take care of these little items. If you don't do that, you know, they say, well, we'll have to get a hold of somebody. I mean, the people who sign up for these boards don't know about this stuff, and they say, I read it here and go, oh, that's probably what was I assume there's some reason why they didn't feel comfortable to face us and say, we didn't have this done yet, and I apologize if that's not the case and you had something else. But anyway, so, and you know, you're gonna have proof of that. You have to have proof of your insurance and that kind of stuff. And that's my guess is what's happening there. Secondly, I wanted to just say again, the clubhouse, that ribbon cutting was fabulous. And I want to take a moment to really thank the vision of city council, the mayor, whoever all, because when they got the GEO bond this last time, the stuff that got done at Spencer Park, I mean, I just, when we did Christmas at the park there, and I mean, I'm 65, I grew up in that park, and it's been gravel forever. And just the difference it makes to have asphalt in that area, and have the boat ramp thing be asphalt and all, or concrete, and it's all set up nice. To have asphalt when you go up that hill. I mean, you used to walk up there and there's cars coming down, you know, that kind of stuff. And the parking area above, you know, we just had a lot of things, you know, we went through the whole thing with the pavilion down there, and now it all is wonderfully tied together. So I think we have a wonderful asset there. I wanted to mention also, I think that you know, getting the pole barn for the Christmas in the Park decorations, again, nice thing, you know, sometimes I do anyway, lose track of the good stuff that's happening, and I concentrate on the bad stuff. But, you know, this isn't fair, and I think we got a lot, I think we've been very blessed with a good helping of money from that GEO bond. Next thing, just things that are kind of outside the perimeter of that, like the driving range that's coming this year. You know, there we worked with the RDC, and, you know, they were able to give them the money to do that project. Again, then all of a sudden you get Mike Anderson or Danny that's going to do something there. That again is going to, I think it's going to be really not. When I saw the whole clubhouse thing, it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. And you're like, it gets plus one more to get that driving range in there. Yeah. And then finally, something I often, you know, say the fountain down at the Iron Horse Park. We first did that, I'm thinking, is that anybody going to really? And all of a sudden, you don't know what's coming. And here comes the whole tent city, what's that called?
Farmers market.
Thank you. Here comes the farmer's market. And now you realize you're going to have that big tent thing. And now, I mean, I didn't give much thought to it. Now you're going to have a Christmas tree. It's going to be as tall. I mean, the tree was big before. Now it's going to be as big as those spires. And then you also got those beautiful lights and stuff there. Mm-hmm. So again, something that when we first spent the money on, I guess, again, that's another RDC thing, so it's not necessarily
It'll
parks.
look great when that construction trailer is gone.
Yeah. If that ever happens. I think we should have like a special like ceremony when the trailer moves, like that house or whatever, that TV show. So anyway, I just want to say sometimes I know that we get wrapped up in all the stuff, and it's easy in life to look at the negative stuff, but I have given some thought to some of the stuff, and just am very thankful for where the parks are, you know, from clubhouse to now. I mean, just all that got done, and all that Dean and Kevin and everybody have done, and then also I want to say that with Jacqueline stuff, I've seen a list of stuff we're doing. It's very creative, it's very neat, and I think it's again going to make us stand out. So I just think there's a lot of people that should be thanked, and just in general, a big umbrella for where our park systems have moved in the last year and a half. We got a lot of things to be thankful for. That's all I got.
Thanks. Mike?
He got all my time.
I'm good. He yielded his time.
Yeah, I yield my time.
Okay. Jennifer?
Senator McCord.
Yes, the same. Thanks for all you guys do. Thankful for everything that you guys do to make our city better.
Just to kind of piggyback on that, you know, we had the AMVets in here who donated a large chunk of cash for the disc golf, and then we had a business owner in town basically say, tell me what else you need to get it done, because we'll get it done. And so I just wanted to recognize Ed Nason. Ed Nason made a $2,000 something contribution, and gave that to Dave, and Dave immediately drove it straight over to the park office. So basically, the disc golf is funded. And so we're excited about that. Have we talked about where it's at? Or is that not?
No, yeah, you can. Go ahead.
So it's going to be in the back of Dykeman Park, obviously past the golf course, and then right as you're going around the horseshoe to get to the pavilion out there, that whole, I don't know the
Wooded area.
directions, of north, the whole wooded direction out there, that
To the
Mike
west.
told me the Boy Scouts actually carved all that out back there, but they don't use it anymore. So Dave talked to some people in the disc golf world, and they said, yeah, this would be a good spot for it. It's beautiful because you've got the big ravine down there. I think it's going to look really nice. And so we're going to have a 9-hole disc golf course, hopefully this year, which will be really nice. And I just can't help but think it's fitting that disc golf is in the same park as the real golf, or the regular golf. I shouldn't say real golf, but so that was really cool. And then just to kind of wrap up, as always, I want to thank all the people on the park staff, the department heads, the employees, that really do so much with so little. We know that from the 5-year master plan that, you know, the amount of acreage we have versus the amount of money we have versus the amount of staff we have, it's a Herculean effort that's getting done out there every day. So I want to thank all of the park staff. And I think with that, I think we will adjourn at 6:42.